Okay, welcome back to this session where we are going to add coins UI to our game. It's the first step before adding real coins into our game and be able to use them. All right, so let's open your photo editor right away and select the circle tool and create a nice circle, maybe 256 by 256. Perfect. And export it. All right, here we are back in Unity. Here is our circle. We can change the texture type to sprite as usual and apply this. Okay, so now we are going to create our first UI element in the menu panel. Okay, so let's maybe disable the game panel. Let's open the menu panel and create a new image that will contain our coin icon and the amount of coins we've got. Okay, so let's call it coins container maybe. Okay, perfect. Let's change the sprite to our rounded container because it's much cleaner, you know. Let's increase the width maybe. Here it is, by the way. Okay, so let's increase the width to something like this. Maybe we can diminish the height. And you can see that we have an issue here. It's not scaling properly because the height is less than the height of our rounded corners. So what we can do is maybe increase the height a bit. Okay, like so. I'm gonna make it black, but diminish the opacity, like so. Okay, then let's create a new image under it, and let's call it coin image. Okay, let's assign the circle as the source image for this, and we can make it yellow or orange, maybe yellow, it's better. Perfect. Then we can anchor it to the sides, to the left side of our container, like so. Perfect. Let's add a bit of padding here and of course preserve the aspect. So let's maybe say 20 pixels on the top and 20 pixels on the bottom, like so. Next, we want to add a text that will display the amount of coins we've got. So let's open the play button and duplicate the text. It's better because it's already set up with the font and alignment that we need. So let's drop it under our coins container. Select the anchor settings and anchor it to the right. Okay, perfect. Now we can rename it. So let's say coins amount. Cool. Let's press F on the scene to be able to see it and rescale it a bit, resize it a bit, like so. Perfect. So let's maybe write 548. Let's align it with the right of the container and move it a bit from the edge. Okay, cool. We can also make it white. Perfect. We now have set up our coins container for the menu. So let's drop it at the top right of the panel, like so. All right, we can press F to focus it again and bring it a bit down, maybe -100, like we've done for the settings icon. And yeah, I think it's pretty good right there. So let's duplicate it now and paste it into our game over panel and also in our level complete panel. Perfect. Now we will be able to see how many coins we've got in the game over and level complete. You know what? Let's add another one for the game panel too. Nice. Okay, now let's hit play just to see if that works. So now the menu panel is enabled. Let's hit play. We now have the game panel enabled. Perfect. And let's check if we can see it in the level complete panel. And we can see it. Perfect. Nice. In the next lesson, we are going to see how we can create another manager again to manage the amount of coins the player has. All right. So see you there. All right, guys, welcome back. So now that we know how to display the amount of coins we've got, let's add some logic to get this data from the player preferences. All right, so first off, we are going to create a new game object and call it data manager. All right, perfect. So let's create this script in our CrowdRunner folder, scripts folder, and now we can create a new script called Data Manager. Cool. Let's drag this script and drop it onto our brand new game object and open it. Perfect. This data manager script will also be responsible for changing the value of the texts. You can actually add this logic to the UI manager, but as the game is simple, once again, we can do that here. But for a bigger game, it's better to separate the UI stuff with the data stuff. Okay, perfect. So let's now include our Unity Engine.UI library. Perfect. Then we want a header for our coin texts, okay, like so. And let's create a new serialized field for an array of text. And this array of text will contain all of our coins texts. So let's call it coins texts. Perfect. Now that we've got our coins texts, we need to know how many coins we've got. So let's create a new variable for that. Private integer, it's going to be an integer, of course, and let's call it coins. In the awake method that we've just created, we want to grab how many coins we've got, and we are going to grab it from the player preferences again. So let's say coins equals, let's access the player preferences class, dot get integer, and let's input the key coins, and by default the value should be 0. Okay, perfect. After getting how many coins the player has, we want to update all of the texts in our game. So let's create a method for that again. It's going to be a private method, void update coins texts, like so. And we're going to use a for each loop this time. So it's like a for loop, but better suited for components. So let's say for each text, which is going to be named maybe coin text, in the array of text we've created before, what are we going to do? We are simply going to say coin text. So coin text. I can't type. Coin text dot text equals coins dot toString. We are simply displaying the amount of coins in our coin text. Okay, cool. So now if we hit play, after adding our texts to the inspector, of course, don't forget that. Let's lock the inspector here. And in the search bar, we're going to search for coin. And here we can see our 4 coins amount texts. So let's drag them and drop them onto this new array. Perfect. Now that we've added them to the array, we should call the update coins text method because we haven't done so. So let's call it in the start method, like so. All right. Let's hit play. And now we can see that the menu amount of coins is 0 along with the game amount of coins too. So it seems that it's working. Okay, cool. So now in the data manager script, we are going to add a method to be able to add coins from anywhere in the game. So let's create a method for that. Let's make it public so that we can call it from anywhere in the game. It's going to be a void method, add coins, and it's going to take an integer. So let's call it amount. So whenever we add coins, we want to increase the amount of coins. So plus equals amount, like so. We also want to update the texts to display the correct amount of coins we have. And finally, we want to save the amount of coins we have in the player preferences. So let's call player preferences. So player prefs dot set integer in the key with the key coins to the coins value. Awesome. Why don't we make our data manager a singleton? Because there is only going to be one data manager in our game. So let's do that, guys. Okay, let's write public static data manager instance. And in the awake method, we can say if instance is different than null, then we can destroy this game object, like we've done for the other singletons in the game. Else instance equals this. And here it's instance and not insta. All right. So now we are able to call the add coins method wherever we want in the game, because we are surely going to call it from the player detection method. Whenever the player will collide with a coin, we want to call this method. So yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to create our first coin, guys. So let's do that in the next session. Hello, guys. In this lesson, we are going to create our first coin. So let's get right into it. Let's right-click in our hierarchy and select 3D object, cylinder. Okay, we are going to use this cylinder as our coin. So before doing anything, we are going to create a parent for this renderer. That way we can control the renderer separately from the game object itself. So let's right-click on it and create an empty parent. Perfect. Let's move it a bit further, like so. Let's rename the game object to coin. And right away, we can already assign a tag to our coin, because when detecting the colliders we collide with, we want to check if the game object has the tag coin. And if that's the case, we are going to increase our coins counter. So let's add a tag. Let's hit plus right here, and let's add a coin tag. Perfect. Now let's select our coin again and assign a coin tag. Perfect. We can now change the render of our coin. So let's rotate this cylinder maybe by 90 degrees on the x-axis and make it smaller on its local y-axis, like so. Yeah, seems like a pretty big coin, but it's okay. It's a game. Now we need to remove the collider from the renderer, because the renderer is only here to render, as its name supposes. And we are going to add a collider to the coin game object. So let's add a sphere collider, and the size seems to be perfect. All right. After that, let's assign a material to our coin. So let's create a new material in the materials folder. Let's create new material. Okay, let's call it coin. Let's assign it to our coin renderer right here. And let's make its color to something between yellow and orange. I think it's pretty good. Like so. Perfect. All right, the coin is pretty much ready, so we can make it a prefab to be able to use it and reuse it as many times as we wish. So open the prefabs folder, drag the coin and drop it into it. Perfect. We now have a coin prefab, guys. In the next session, let's add some logic and see how we can collect those coins. See you there. Welcome back. In this lesson, we will see how to implement the coins we've just created into our game, and also learn how we can detect the collisions between the player and the coins. All right, let's do that. So first off, let's open the prefabs folder and let's create a new chunk for our coins. I'm going to select the long chunk and duplicate it by pressing Ctrl D again. And let's rename it to something like long chunk 10 coins. All right, so let's double click it to open it. Perfect. Let's go back to our prefabs folder, drag our coin and drop it onto the scene, so it's added to the chunk. All right, let's place it a bit, maybe like so. Let's place one at the center and place maybe 9 other coins wherever you want. So I'm just going to grab some, so it's 3. All right, that's 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 right now. Perfect. That's 9 and that's 10. Okay, cool. Now that I have 10 coins, let's implement this chunk in a level. So I'm just going to go back to the scene, select the chunk manager, select any level and duplicate it. All right. Now, just for testing purposes, I'm going to drag this one, drop it here and remove all the other ones. So let's say that I want only one level to play. And let's say that I want level 3 to play. Let's select it. Okay, cool. Now we can drag our long chunk 10 coins and drop it into the chunks array. All right, let's drop it at maybe just after the short chunk. Cool. Let's hit play. Okay, perfect. Now I can see the chunk with the coins we've just created. Cool. Let's now implement the logic for the player to be able to hit the coins. Okay, because now when hitting the coins, nothing happens. Okay, let's go back to our player detection script. Open it. All right, here we are in the player detection script. I will, first off, I think we should rename this method first because it's not only responsible for detecting doors now. We also detect the finish line, and now we are going to detect the coins. So let's rename it by pressing Ctrl R 2 times. And let's name it detect colliders. Like so. Okay, perfect. We can diminish this logic along with this one and create a new logic for our coins. So we can say else if detected colliders I.tag equals coin. If the collider we've detected has the tag coin, then we want to destroy the coin. So let's destroy the detected collider I.gameObject. And we also want to add a coin to the coins counter. And if you remember well, the data manager script is the one responsible for managing the coins. So we will simply call the add coins method and specify that we want to add 1 coin. Okay, you can also imagine like having a bonus coin maybe that will give 10 coins, and we can detect it by changing its tag to another tag, to maybe something like bonus coin or something. Okay, so let's call the data manager .instance because it's a singleton. .add coins 1. Perfect. Let's now go back to Unity. Okay, let's hit play. All right. So I'm hitting the coins and they are getting added to the counter. Perfect. I did not hit the first one, but that's okay. Actually, if you want to hit the first one, we can do something. If you remember well, in the player detection script, we specified a radius of 1. Here we can specify the radius of the crowd so that if any of the runners hit something, we will detect it. Okay, so let's do that, yeah. First off, we need to remember where we had this piece of data. So if I remember well, it was in the crowd manager. So let's open the crowd system and see if we've got this. Yep, we do have it here. So now we need to use this method, call it from the player detection script, and yeah, use it for detection. So let's do that. Open the player detection script, and here you can notice that we have a reference to our crowd system. That's perfect. We will need it. Line 32, when detecting the colliders, we can now replace the radius of 1 by the crowd system.getCrowdRadius. Perfect. Let's go back to Unity, hit play. Okay, and now you can notice that the coins we've hit previously have been saved, so that's perfect. Okay, 24, and now we can collect all of the coins. Awesome! In the next lesson, let's see how we can build our game, export it as an APK to be able to test it on our device. So yeah, let's do that. See you there.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss any update.